This one is entitled Sky Spirit, and at first glance they are very mask-like. They reference a lot of the African masks from different cultures. For Queen, she says that they're not mask-like. For her, they are taking a step forward. We'll look at some others and where she has stepped away from really a facial shape to other shapes. And again, we've got different materials that she has brought here. This whole grouping of nails that are just encrusted into this wood piece. We see her same use of color, this dynamic contrasting of colors. She has tightened her palette here and is working from a blue-red base here of colors, branching off from it occasionally, but this tightened color palette gives this piece a different flow. Another notable aspect to this work in bringing together these pieces of wood, these different shapes, to me reminds me a lot of the use of quilting, that quilters bring to their pieces many different pieces of fabric and see how they fit together and construct a piece with different patterns, different shapes, different forms, and together they are brought together and form this very formal piece of artwork. And I get that same sense here that she's using these different scraps of wood, different shapes, small rounds, a lot of linear pieces, and together bring them together to construct a very different piece from any one single part. So this is a larger scale piece of Queen Brooks. The title of this piece is Ode to the Folk Artist. Folk artists have this wonderful way of working that reflects just an outpouring of spirit. And their work is very contagious in a lot of ways. We feel the energy of the artist. And in this piece, we also feel this energy. Queen Brooks is conveying a lot of her energy, her joie vivre, this joy of life within her piece. The colors, again, that we see here are not muted. They are bold. They're very high contrast. They're on a black ground. And we see this piece and it flows. There's a complex structure to this using horizontal and verticals interspersed with these circles in which our eye flows from one end to the other. Every bit of surface is encrusted, not just with color, but also with some found objects. We have some beads, and we have some shells, and some marble pieces here. And so she's bringing together so much energy, so much part of life here. And then on this shelf, we've got this wonderful encrusted brush that is Ode to the Folk Artist, a brush that is certainly been used. A lot of energy has flowed from artist to canvas through this brush. And here we have another piece that, while it starts off looking very mask-like, to her she says they're hats, that they've turned into something that is worn on top of the head and not in front of the face. This one is entitled Locks, which refers to the roping hanging down here, she said reminded her of dreadlocks when she had put it together. These, to me, also read as very plate-like. It is food for the soul. All of these pieces and parts that come together. We start with a radial. The first image we see is very radial, but then we've got these other forms coming into it and coming through it and piercing it. There's so much to look at and read as far as color, texture, form, all together in one piece. And here we've got the contrast of the linear fiber work hanging off of this piece.